Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, June the 8th, and unfortunately, our deaths have stepped up. Over the weekend, now we have 15 additional deaths that have happened since our last briefing, and I caution everybody over and over and over, I don't get it. I really don't get it. We all know that these vaccines will save your life. We all know that they're incredibly safe. We all know that if you don't have a vaccine and you transmit this to others and everything, you may be doing it without even knowing it. I just don't get it. I really don't get it. We've got to get vaccinated. That's all there is to it. We've got 15 more people here that we've lost. One of them is a 40-year-old. And absolutely, we want to honor them with all the respect we possibly can. But please, please, let's stop this dreaded killer. We have a means and a way to do it, but we've got to step up and get ourselves vaccinated. Like I said, I love you with all my soul, and there's no chance on the planet that if I knew in any way, or I suspicioned in any way that there was any kind of mishap that I felt like in any way that could happen from being vaccinated, I would be telling you. I've told you the truth every single day that I've stood in front of you and everything, and so please go get vaccinated. The 2,808th death in West Virginia is a 75-year-old male from Mercer County. The 2,809th death is a 66-year-old male from Monongalia County. The 2,810th death, a 54-year-old male from Nicholas County. The 2,811th death, a 40-year-old female from Kanawha County. The 2,812th death, a 62-year-old male from Taylor County. The 2,813th death, a 93-year-old male from Barber County. The 2,814th death, a 73-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 2,815th death, I'm sorry, let me go back. The 2,814th death, forgive me, I'm really sorry. The 2,814th death, a 73-year-old male from Kanawha County. The 2,815th death, a 71-year-old male from Wood County. The 2,816th death, a 75-year-old male from Mineral County. The 2,817th death, an 88-year-old female from Wood County. The 2,818th death, a 55-year-old male from Morgan County. The 2,819th death, a 75-year-old female from Monongalia County. The 2,820th death, a 66-year-old female from Barber County. The 2,821st death, a 72-year-old male from Kanawha County. And the 2,822nd death in West Virginia is a 62-year-old female from Randolph County. We can stop this. We can stop it. We have the power of stopping it. Especially how many of our people, 65, 75 and above, how many of your moms and dads, how many of your grandparents and everything, how many of them are we going to have to lose in order to be able to just say, no, I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore in any way. I'm going to step up. I'm going to go get vaccinated. I don't care how inconvenient it is. I'm going to spend the time and I'm going to get vaccinated, because I'm not going to be one that's on the sidelines that could very well be transmitting, or I'm not going to be the one that somebody that is a really, really close loved one of my family dies, and maybe I could have done something extra to try to help. Oh boy. In the last 24 hours, this could be skewed from testing and over the weekend, but we only have 96 new positive cases. Our positivity rate, 2.79. Our cumulative positivity rate is at 5.06. It continues to drop. I'd love to get this below 5% and everything, and then keep on going. Our active cases, get this, are down to 3,431 cases. Recovered cases, 156,383. 144 hospitalized, 57 in the ICU units, and we don't have any red counties. All that's good stuff. We just got to stop people from dying. This is good stuff, good indicators, but we got to do more. If you're 65 and above, I remind you all the time about going to get tested, because if we catch this early enough, the antibodies will save your life. Now, I want to make a special announcement here. We've lost a county commissioner in Mingo County. Gavin Smith passed away. Please join Kathy and I in our prayers for that family and all of his loved ones. You know, thank you so much, Gavin, for your contribution to this great state. But more than anything, thank you for being a great West Virginian and all the great stuff that you and your family have done forever. Thank you. Yesterday in our special session, we passed, and I salute the legislature and I thank them for moving quickly and everything to where we can pour $150 million of surplus that we have absolutely, manifested through this year. We can take $150 million of our surplus and pour it into roads, pour it into the repair of slips and all kinds of different issues, paving and everything, in all 55 counties. It's a great step forward and everything. It'll just make our state more and more and more attractive to others. And I salute the legislature and thank them in every way for stepping up. This money is much needed, and it will continue to set our record-breaking road maintenance activities pace all across our state. So thank you to the legislature. Great work. Our vaccine eligibilities, are available to all people that are 12 years of age and older. Our young people, I ask them over and over and over, please help me, help our young people to get vaccinated. Put it as a top priority today. Put it as a top priority today. I'll get into all the different things that we're going to be drawing for and everything, and your eligibility there. Lots and lots of folks have already signed up and gotten registered and everything, 70,000. And so absolutely, I want to go over that in just a few minutes, but our savings bonds and gift certificates to those that are 16 to 35 are still going out. Absolutely, with all in me, though, you should get vaccinated for your health, for the health of all others, and for your part to participate to help all of us in the state of West Virginia and in this nation. We're at an 83.9% total administration rate of first and second doses. That's nearly actually, the people in our state that have received one shot, our 50-year-olds are at a vaccination rate of 75.9%, 50-year-olds and older. They are at 65% as being fully vaccinated. Those that are 65 and older are at 84.6%, 0.4% from the target that we set that nobody thought was even close to possible. They're 0.4% from 85% with one dose. Amazing, amazing. That's really good. Now listen to this number. We're at 59.9% of all of our eligible folks from 12 years of age and up that are vaccinated with the first shot. We're targeting and we're trying to shoot towards 65%. It continues to go up, and as it continues to climb, if we can just continue to step up and get vaccinated, we'll get to that 65%, and we'll get to that 65% really close to our state's birthday. Okay, from the standpoint of our mask, we're going to be close enough. We know we're going to be close enough from the standpoint of our mask. Our masks are gone on our state's birthday, and we're happy to announce that. We've got to all be aware. We've got to all be aware of just this. We're not out of the woods yet. We still got a ways to go. If you'll continue to help me, I'll promise you I'll give every single thing, every fiber that I have in my body to try to help and do anything I can for all of us. From the standpoint of our manufacturing and church outreach, that's our business and our church outreach, please contact us. We'll come to your businesses, wherever it may be, and vaccinate your employees. We'll come to your churches and vaccinate your congregations. From a standpoint of our vaccine info line, it's all up there. You know, from our call to arms, you know, when we're getting rid of our mask and everything on our state's birthday and everything, we're all working toward that in every way. We wanted to get to 85% of our 65 and older, 75% of our 50 and older, and we want to get 65% of our total population, and we're there. We're there on our for all practical purposes, on our 65 and older, we're at 84.6%. At our 50 and older, we're at 75.9% or whatever, or what I just read. And then on our, we've still got a ways to go on our whole population. We're at 59.9. You know, I know tomorrow we'll go above 60%. We want to just keep trending like crazy to get ourselves to 65%. You know, I continue to remind everyone out there that private businesses have the right to require you to wear a mask in their business and everything. But from our standpoint, if you're fully vaccinated today plus 2 weeks, you have either 2 shots of Moderna, 2 shots of Pfizer, and 2 weeks after that. Or you have 1 shot of Johnson & Johnson 2 weeks after that. And you're fully vaccinated and everything in all 3 of those cases in 2 weeks, then you're good to go without a mask and everything in our public buildings, in our private buildings as well, except a private enterprise has the right to require you to wear a mask. You know, as far as getting tested, it's free testing. I encourage you to continue to do so. Take advantage of this as long as you possibly can. It only gives us more and more information. It will only assist and help you in every way. We thank Walgreens and Frith for all they've done. You know, that's really good stuff. We're down a little bit in our long-term care facilities to 6 outbreaks. We're up just a fraction with our churches. We have 7 outbreaks in 5 counties. That's Monroe, Nicholas, Webster, Taylor, and Pendleton counties. We're down to almost nothing in our correctional facilities. We have 3 inmate cases and 3 staff cases. It's phenomenal. Absolutely unbelievable. What a job. What a job they've done. You know, from the standpoint of giving blood, especially if you have recovered and you've recovered from this dreaded killer, do you not owe a debt of gratitude to at least consider giving blood? And so think about it. Just think about it. I've got this right here. A State Journal came out today, and I want to thank all those at the State Journal and Andy Nicely. We've got Baby Dog's picture on the State Journal here and everything. It's kind of neat stuff and everything. It says, "Do it for Baby Dog," and that's in regard to our lottery. Now, I want to talk to you just a second about that. You know, I'm on here every day, just about, well, every other day. And what I do is I plead with you to get vaccinated. Dr. Marsh comes on, does the same thing. There's all kinds of public service, you know, announcements and everything. Our broadcasters have stepped up like crazy, and they're doing the same thing. You know, every one of us, Dr. Amjad, you know, General Hoyer, Bill Crouch, Secretary Crouch, on and on, we ask you, you know. Now, I know Baby Dog is an unusual face to say do it for Baby Dog if you're not going to do it for all the rest of us. But she's a face that brings a lot of smiles to a lot of people. And that's really what we're trying to do. We want to bring a smile to your face. In this lottery and everything, we're tickled to death to be able to give away a lot of incredible stuff and everything. And we want to do it with a smile on our face and everything, and have somebody or somebodies do really, really good on the prizes that they win. But we want all West Virginians to step up. We want all West Virginians to get vaccinated, and please, 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 if you're not going to do it for me, if you're not going to do it for your family, if you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for Baby Dog. Do it for that little rascal, and not little, but that little rascal that looks like a brown watermelon that loves everybody. Loves everybody. You know, I have not run into one single person that she just doesn't wiggle and go up and start licking and everything. She loves everybody. There couldn't be a better symbol, as far as I'm concerned, of somebody that truly loves you. She loves everybody. And so with all that and everything, let's get vaccinated. Let's get involved and let's get registered to be able to win these incredible prizes. Now, there's 70,000 of you that are registered right now, you know, and the first lottery drawing will be held on our birthday, which is Father's Day, on June the 20th. On Father's Day, we'll make somebody in West Virginia a millionaire. We'll absolutely give away $1 million in cash to somebody on Father's Day. In addition to that, we'll be giving away, you know, 2 brand new, newly custom outfitted trucks. We'll be giving away, I don't know the total number of full ride scholarships. I think it's 2 that we're going to give away every week. We're going to give away multiple weekend getaways at our state parks, multiple lifetime hunting and fishing license. We're going to give away multiple hunting rifles and hunting shotguns, and then on our last drawing, which is I think August the 4th, I believe, on our last drawing we're going to give away, in addition to what we're normally giving away, we're going to give away a grand prize of that, remember that beat 588 ... bad? We're going to give away the grand prize of $1,588,000 of cash with a runner-up prize of $588,000 of cash. You've got to register to be eligible. Absolutely anybody that has received a shot will be eligible. Anybody that has received their first shot will be eligible. So if you're out there and you haven't received your shot, well, for God's sakes a living, go get your first shot and absolutely register. You know, if you got your first shot and second shots back in January, register. You're eligible. Everybody is eligible that has a first shot. And so get yourself registered and everything. And then I go to Nathan, who came up with this incredible saying, save a life, change your life. It's a really wonderful, wonderful saying. So with that, please get registered. Please get vaccinated. We're going to have we're going to have a fun day, and we're going to continue on, and we're going to make a lot of people put big smiles on their face, and we're doing it with the face of a little dog that loves everybody that she comes in contact with, you know, and that little bulldog face is maybe at times, you know, not the most beautiful face, but it absolutely always seems to put a smile on everybody's face. And so with all that, let me just say this one more time, that about getting yourself registered and getting that first shot, all that's really good. Right as soon as the briefing's over today, we're going to do a special announcement with Highmark, West Virginia. You know, you ought to stay tuned and watch that and everything, because that's a really special announcement. But nevertheless, that's all I've got right now. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Governor. Let's now go to Dr. Clay Marsh, our coronavirus czar.
Well, good morning. And following up with what the governor has challenged all of us in West Virginia to do, which is to choose vaccination if you are eligible. And please consider choosing that with the rest of your family if anyone hasn't been vaccinated. It really comes home when we start to look at more data that's emerging from around the world. What we're finding now is that a new variant of COVID-19, so-called the Delta variant, which is the variant that started in India, is now become the most common form of COVID-19 around the world. It appears that this variant of COVID-19 is about 40% more infectious than the variant that came from the United Kingdom, which is currently our most common variant in the US and in West Virginia. And when we start to look at these variants, we know that these variants happen when people who have not been vaccinated get infected and the virus starts to grow and replicate inside of people who have not been vaccinated. And the virus is a messy replicator, so it makes mistakes genetically when it reproduces. And these genetic mistakes can add up and give the virus advantages to make the virus more infectious, to make the virus more deadly. And we know that the UK variant was about 40% more infectious than the initial variant that we had that came from Wuhan, China, so-called the Washington variant, because the Washington state's where it first showed up. And now the new variant from India is about 40% more infectious than the United Kingdom variant. So what we find is that if people are fully vaccinated and 2 weeks after their vaccination, CDC now reports that there is a 91% real world protection against getting COVID-19 and virtually total protection, 100% protection against hospitalization, against death, against severe disease. Now, when we look at the United Kingdom, most people that are getting infected with this new form of COVID-19 that came from India, the Delta variant, they are people that are unvaccinated. And that's really important because in the United Kingdom today, there is a doubling in the number of cases caused by this Delta variant every 8 days in the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom was also very aggressive at introducing single shots, so putting at least one shot in the arms of many of their citizens. And what the United Kingdom is finding is that the one shot is not very protective against this Delta variant, only protects about 30% with one shot. But when people get two shots and they're 14 days after their second shot or final shot of the vaccine series, then the vaccines are very protective. Now, in the United Kingdom, they're considering whether to have another lockdown as they're seeing this new surge. And I think it just gives us insight because we are doing genetic screening on all the viruses in West Virginia. And recently we have seen none of this variant, the Delta variant that came from India in West Virginia. But we know as things get more different forms of COVID-19 circulate around the world, it will come to West Virginia. So this is really our time with all residents of West Virginia who are vaccine eligible to please choose, as the governor said, to be fully vaccinated. It protects you, it protects all of us, and it also protects us from having that virus start to mutate in the state of West Virginia, because we know that as people are not vaccinated, they're at risk for getting infected, and as more people infected, the virus continues to mutate and new variants form. So West Virginia, it's our time to lead again. We appreciate everything that everybody's doing. I love the baby dog has become the face of our vaccine effort. And I think that with baby dog representing the love for everyone that she meets, and as we think for the people of West Virginia who we all love and care about, we think it's so important for you to choose vaccination so that we don't have more deaths in this state, we don't have more hospitalizations, and that we have West Virginia shine for the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Marsh. Next, we'll go to retired Major General Jim Hoyer, the director of our Joint Interagency Task Force.
Good morning. I'd like to just highlight a couple items that Governor Justice and Dr. Marsh talked about. Again, we continue to make significant progress with our 50 and above and our 65 and above. We are either have exceeded our mark and want to press further on the over 50s, and we are close to hitting and exceeding our mark on 65 and above. We still have a good bit of work to do for the eligible population 12 and above, and we need everybody to jump in and help with that. A couple of items, things that, again, Clay pointed out, we've got the Indian variant, Delta, as referred to as Delta variant. We need to press hard, particularly with our young people who want to participate in fall sports, and we'll continue to work with the SSAC. You need to get vaccinated now so you don't have to worry about in the fall quarantines or other issues, and have a good sports year in your high school years going forward and your middle school years. In addition, we are working and appreciate the great work of the folks at AARP, Galen Miller, Jane Marks have been working with us along with Bonnie Dunn and the Healthy Grand Families program that works with both the West Virginia University and West Virginia State Extension. And we are going to press hard. We know there are about 75,000 children in West Virginia who are served by grandparents as their primary care taker, and we need to work to get those children and those grandparents vaccinated so that we can protect them going forward. So appreciate all the efforts of those groups. We will continue to press, and I'd ask all West Virginians to please get vaccinated. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Secretary Bill Crouch with the DHHR had a prior engagement today, but will rejoin us later in the week. Dr. Ryan Amjad, our state health officer, is also joining us today and is available for questions. We'll now go to questions from members of the media. The first today from Paul Mullen with WCBC.
Good morning, Governor. Good morning, panel and fellow journalists. Mine is more of a long-term question, and it's about the potential that we may need to get booster shots for the vaccine. Dr. Marsh, how would they determine that? Do they have a sample group that they're studying now? And do we know if it's going to be like 6 months in, a year in, or are we still kind of reaching in the dark? Thank you.
Dr. Marsh, go, sir.
Thanks, Governor, and thank you, Paul. So the Centers for Disease Control, the CDC, is following people that were part of these vaccination studies and others to look for, whether any reduction in the host immunity is happening in people that have been fully vaccinated. And what they're finding is, at least at 6 months, it appears that the vaccines are still working well in the people that they are testing. We are also, Paul, very focused, very closely watching, what's happening around the rest of the country, around the rest of the world, and also what's happening in West Virginia. So we're watching very carefully any breakthrough cases. Breakthrough cases are people that have been fully vaccinated 14 days after their final vaccination who become infected again or become infected for the first time with COVID-19. And we're also monitoring whether anybody who does have a breakthrough case ends up getting ill, hospitalized, or dying, because that might be the very earliest, insight that we may get that either the vaccines are starting to reduce in their effectiveness in at least a few people, because we presume that's going to be different for different people, and maybe some people whose immune systems may not work quite as well, people that are older, people that are compromised, people that are on different kind of medicines that might suppress their immune system may be more at risk. But also that may be an insight that we have a new variant that's causing problems. So we're constantly watching those parameters, as well as following certainly closely with the CDC and other federal agencies.
All right, thank you, Paul. Next, we'll go to Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning, Governor, Cabinet, fellow reporters. Governor, just a quick update. Our St. Albans Regional Vaccination Clinic Friday, 79 people got shots, and I believe a dozen of those were in the 12 to 17 age group. So I want to thank your staff, the entire staff of the city of St. Albans, and mostly Dr. Sherry Young and the folks at the Kanawha Charleston Health Department for a successful event. Again, 79 people who weren't vaccinated Thursday are now because of the clinic Friday. On to my question, Governor. There's a group of protesters, some labor protesters outside your mansion or the mansion and the west wing of the Capitol today protesting that the Beatrice Mylan plant shutting down in Morgantown. They think you in the legislature could do more to try to keep that plant open, or to try and get somebody else to take over that plant, another employer. I think there's 1,500 jobs there. But we'd like to get your response to what the protesters are saying today.
I've not talked with them myself yet. I'm going to talk with them on the way out and everything. I talked with, their spokeslady and everything there, and we talked a little bit, but the people hadn't quite gotten there yet, and I promised them that I would talk with them on the way out. But Secretary Gaunch is out there speaking with them right now, and all I would say is just, Mark, there has been an incredible amount of work that's going on behind the scenes and in every way trying to do any and everything we possibly can to come up with another suitor or come up with something, you know, that would have changed the views of the folks that decided and made the decision to go elsewhere and shut that plant down. It's a crying shame and everything. The good thing about it is in that area of our state, we continue to grow, and I would be very, very hopeful that if we don't have another suitor that will come in there now, you know, we continue to run down every single thing that we can possibly run down. And I do believe that we will end up with another suitor of some type that will move into those facilities, because they're unbelievable facilities and everything. But today, you know, we do not have that. There's been a lot of work towards that and everything, you know, and we want to continue to incentivize people from out of state to come to West Virginia and give them real reasons to come. And we do that in all the different things that are going on right now. The $150 million we just put into additional road work and everything. All the different stuff that the legislature was kind enough to approve yesterday, and everything that we continue to do drives more and more and more folks here. You know, I felt real strongly about the personal income tax. All the different things that we can do, we got to do. We've got to do to push population growth to West Virginia. But you know, at the end of the day, you know, when it really, really boils right down to it, you know, Mark, nobody has an absolute golden key that we can just make it happen and everything. We continue to try really hard, and I'm thankful that in that area we have significant growth going on in a lot of different areas where maybe those workers can get displaced in a lot of different areas until we get that suitor found. But we're going to keep at it until we find that till we find that replacement in for those unbelievable jobs, good jobs, great paying jobs and everything. 1,500 jobs, that's a blow. That's an absolute mega blow to the state of West Virginia.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to John Mark Shaver with WV News.
Hi, everybody. My question is a sort of follow-up to Paul's, but later this month, we will be reaching the 6-month mark after the first vaccines were administered in the state to first responders. And although you guys are monitoring the situation with breakthrough cases and test groups, is there a concern that now that the general public shots will soon be reaching the 6-month mark, that we'll be seeing a decrease in immunity?
Well, I'm not a doctor, but let me answer this, okay? Because I'll answer it just point blank. You know me. Listen, we have got to listen to the experts, do we not? Do we not think that there is so much work going on with test groups and everything you can imagine behind the scenes? It is unbelievable. Unbelievable what's going on. Absolutely, I am sure that millions, tens and tens and tens, if not hundreds or billions of dollars are being spent like crazy, all, especially in our country, but all around the world right now to try to answer that exact question. When is it that we're going to have some form of booster shot? Is it going to be at 6 months, a year, 5 years? Where is it going to be? And the powers to be are working it, and they're working it as diligently as they possibly can. When we have guidance from the powers to be that are doing all the testing, we will be announcing that immediately. And we will be ready to give booster shots when that announcement comes and everything. But there is no point in us kidding ourselves right now. No one really knows, do they? They honestly don't know. They feel like right now we're really safe, but they don't know. Nobody has that silver bullet that I'm talking about. Nobody knows. Nobody's ever dealt with anything like this. It has been a miracle beyond belief that our vaccines have worked how they've worked. And you know, I know this is not popular with a lot of people, but it's just fact to me. You know, we owe a lot of debt of gratitude to President Trump, you know, for really stepping on the gas and absolutely funding and helping everybody get to this vaccine as quickly as we did. You know, there's so many different people that are putting in the licks, but listen, it's silly. It's silly for anybody to just patronize you. Nobody knows right now, but they will. And when they know, it won't be too late, and we will be ready to move in West Virginia, and we'll get the job done and get it done immediately. You know, that's the right answer. You know, I can't be more truthful.
All right, thank you. Next, we'll go to Mark Cram with WDVM.
Good morning, Governor. Good morning, panel. We appreciate all your devoted time that you've given for well over a year now. Wondering what the current vaccination rate is across the state. What are you seeing as far as numbers of individuals showing up? You know, at first there was more people than vaccines. Now that's tipped the other way. What are you seeing generally across the state? Thank you.
General, please go.
Yes, sir, Governor. So, Mark, as Governor pointed out earlier, 50 and above population, 75.9%, over 65, 84.6%, and right at 60% for our eligible population, 12 and above. What we see right now is continued steady flow of people, but as you pointed out, we have plenty of available vaccines. We see that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, for all practical purposes, has almost dropped off completely in demand for that. People feel much more comfortable with the Pfizer and Moderna vaccine and going to the 2 doses. So continued steady flow of people. But the governor has pressed us to continue to make sure that we educate and make people aware of the availability and the value and the importance of the vaccine going into the fall and winter months. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mark. Next, we'll go to David Beard with the Dominion Post.
Hi. I wanted to follow up on Dr. Marsh's comments about the variants breaking out among the unvaccinated, and ask if you could give your perspective on kind of what's involved in the logistics. What logistics are hampering other parts of the world from getting vaccinated in a timely way? I'm sure that money, supply, maybe even some other government ineptitude all play a role, but could you give your thoughts on that? Thanks.
Dr. Marsh, please, sir.
Thank you, Governor, and thank you, David. I think that, you know, David, as we look around the world, you know, we look at countries that have been able to both afford vaccines and have been forward thinking about their use, and countries that have not. And the United Kingdom is a country that is forward thinking about vaccines and have sufficient vaccines, but their strategy was really very unique. They tried to give at least one shot in the arms of as many people as they could, and didn't so focus on full vaccination, which is what we've done in the US, and in many ways what Israel has done in their country. And what we see is that one vaccine is not nearly as protective as we need against these new variants, and that really fully vaccinated, you know, full vaccines is what we really need to focus on. And that's true in West Virginia as well as the United Kingdom and other parts of the world. In parts of the world that don't have much vaccine, there are a number of reasons why they are not being successful. You know, one, you have to acquire sufficient vaccines, and those have been under a lot of demand around the world. Number two is the vaccines have been expensive, and that's been something that the hope was that AstraZeneca and some other vaccines might be able to help with that. And then, as you say, David, in many parts of the world, they have a lot of either internal challenges, decentralized, you know, sort of oversight, so that building the appropriate supply chains to handle vaccines, to be able to distribute those vaccines, to store them effectively, to be able to immunize their people effectively and efficiently have all been challenges that we've seen around the world. And I think that it really does reinforce how lucky we are here in the US and in West Virginia. As the governor said, these vaccines are really miracle drugs that we have been given that are, 100% protective against really severe life-threatening illness and disease in almost all people that receive these vaccines. And the key for us is not that we don't have sufficient amounts of the vaccine, it's that we need to help our residents, our people that we care about, to please choose to be vaccinated, because we know how powerfully deadly and problematic COVID can strike people. And we don't want to see another person in West Virginia get sick or die from COVID-19. Thank you.
All right, thank you, David. Next, we'll go to Jared Sari with the Charleston Gazette-Mail.
Hello, Governor. Good morning. Good morning, everybody on the call. I wanted to follow up on Mark's question. Governor, you had said that there's been a lot of work toward finding a new operator for the Mylan plant in Morgantown. Would you be able to speak on some of the specifics of this progress you say that the state has made toward that?
Well, what I would say is right now, Ed Gaunch is out there speaking to the folks out there, and I'm sure that he's speaking on more specifics, but there's just lots of stuff. There's lots of stuff that everybody is trying in every way. I mean, it's just as simple as just this. When you reach out and you have a company, a private enterprise that decides they're going to close their doors, and I pleaded with them to absolutely reconsider, some way, somehow reconsider. And it just fell on deaf ears. From the standpoint of others in the area and everything, we have given tours. We are trying with all in us. But this, guys, is private enterprise that you're trying to attract other private enterprise to replace and come to our state. It's not an easy task. I mean, just think of how long that it took to get Procter & Gamble to come. And this is absolutely from when Procter & Gamble came in the beginning, this is 2.5 times that size or even more. And so it's a big undertaking. We're trying in lots of ways and everything, but we just haven't been able to achieve yet.
All right, thank you, Jared. Next to Rebecca Augustoni with WTRF.
It's a big undertaking.
Thank you, everyone, and good morning to you. My question does not pertain to COVID-19. My question actually pertains to the Northern Regional Jail in Moundsville, Marshall County. On Thursday, June 3rd, there was an incident at the jail where a fight broke out. Some say it was a riot, and 3 inmates were stabbed. We have received at the station multiple calls from concerned citizens, loved ones, former and current employees, letters from inmates stating that this was bound to happen due to conditions of overpopulation and at the jail and understaffing. Just one day later, on June 4th, our station received a statement from the state of West Virginia that population levels have improved at the Northern Regional Jail in recent weeks. And my question is to the governor. Governor, is that still the state's stance despite what our reports are revealing?
Well, all I can report to you is just this, that I am aware of the situation there. I'm aware of the overpopulation situation, and our corrections folks are doing a full investigation into what happened and everything. And as soon as they conclude that investigation, they'll report it to me, and we'll report it to everyone. Full transparency. Full disclosure. That's what we do every time.
All right. Thank you, Rebecca. Governor, I'll turn it back to you to close out.
Well, I go back to the vaccines just a second, and I remind everyone to look at this map again. Look at the green on this map right here and everything. No red counties, lots and lots and lots and lots of green. I remind everyone to just, and I know you can't see it, but just look at this page and just think of all these folks that I've just read that we lost over the weekend. Do you realize there's 15 people here? When we had the Sago mine disaster, and we all just crumbled because we all sent up prayer after prayer after prayer that those miners, there was 12 of them, I believe, that they would be found alive. And we finally found them, and 11 out of the 12 of them were dead at that time, and the other individual, was surely compromised and had some real issues. This is 25%, I think that's the right percentage. 25% or they're close to it. More folks in one day over one weekend than the Sago mine disaster. I'll never forget Governor Manchin there. He was there for a long time. He had a flight jacket on and everything, and our state, this nation, was just absolutely engulfed and just thrust right into this. Absolutely. This in one weekend is greater than that. And we can stop it. We can stop it. All we got to do is get vaccinated. I just don't get it. I mean, really and truly, do you not have a duty? Do you not have a duty to step up? Now, you can win a great big truck, and you could even win $1 million. And if you're a young person, for crying out loud, how could you be so silly? How could you be so silly? You can win all kinds of stuff. You could even win a full ride scholarship. Absolutely, how could you be so silly? I ask you just for me, for one thing, have a family discussion. Sit and have a rational family discussion and make a decision for your family, but at least show it the time of day to have a discussion. And absolutely, I hope you'll come to the conclusion that, yeah, we maybe have thought of this wrongly, and we're going to go get vaccinated, because it's just that important. It is so important. I can never tell you how really, truly important it is. I congratulate everybody in all those green counties. That's some really good work. And I thank all of our medical team and all of our experts that are on. I can never thank them enough. All those out there that have really stood up. I mean, if you just think back, and I want to just end with just this thought. Think back to those first responders and all those in the healthcare communities and all those that absolutely crawled out of bed every day and walked right into the fire. They walked right into the fire. And many of them, we didn't have enough protective covering because we couldn't get it. And yet, they walked right in the fire. Heroes beyond belief in my book. Absolutely. And look at 2,822 West Virginians. Don't they every last one of them, don't they deserve the respect and honor that 2,822 didn't die in vain? And don't absolutely all those that walked right into the fire, all those that came to the grocery stores and got you groceries every day, all those people that walked right into the fire, don't they deserve that their efforts or their death didn't go in vain? And the only thing in the world that I'm asking of you is to get vaccinated so we can stop this stuff. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And it weighs on every last one of us beyond belief. We can stop it if you'll go get vaccinated. That's all I've got. I love you with all my soul, and I absolutely respectful of your opinions and thoughts and absolute wishes in every way. But in this situation, you got to go get vaccinated. Thank you a bunch.